Hello, I'm here again to complain as I always do, it seems. Um, Now you may be asking, what are you gonna complain about now? And that's a great question. I'm glad you asked. I want to just talk, really, you know? I'll make it somewhat of a podcast. I've got a lot of unedited video footage with no audio that I wanted to use as kind of a background for something to look at while I speak. By the way, this video footage is Dungeon Fighter Online. I used to play it a lot when I was younger. I played with a few friends, but nobody ever really stayed on it. And at the time, I was young, so whenever I was playing a game with friends, if they'd stop playing, I'd stop playing. We'd kind of all just play certain games together, so we'd flock to wherever the other person was going. But yeah, I genuinely did enjoy playing Dungeon Fighter growing up. I pretty sure that I was maining the female mage at the time, because I think back then the male mage and the creator and the agent, none of them were characters at the time, right? And the female demon slayer wasn't a character for sure, but I used to love mages, and the female mage is who I went for, and I used to hate playing her because she was, well, basically the same reasons that I'm realizing now, like as I play. I mean, right now you're watching gameplay of the creator, not the female mage, but she was slow. Her attacks were more so of what you'd expect from a mage. The classes that I picked were confusing to me at the time because I didn't understand how to fully utilize her. She just looked like a really cool character to me because I was always into the magic side when it came to like character creation and class picking. Just because magic seemed like the glass cannon. And it seemed like the perfect way to go. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be. I don't care if she's a female. I'll be the female mage. One of my friends would be like the priest, which at the time there was only like the male priest. We didn't have a female one at the time. So they'd be like the male priest, and then the other one would be like the slayer, which, like I said, we didn't have a female slayer, so it's just the male slayer. And it was fun. We'd have like a 2 to 3 partied squad. Sometimes the randoms would come in, and we just grind for hours, and that was that was great. Around the same time, OG Planet was out, so we were playing games like Rumble Fighter and Lost Saga. Um, there was one game, I'm blanking on it. I want to call it Hearthstone, but I'm pretty sure that wasn't it. It was like Bloodstone, Blood of the Heart. It was some game on OG Planet that I dipped into a bit. My friends didn't. Um, around that time, every game was getting some kind of popularity in it. S4 League, rest in peace to that game. I think now they have private servers up. City of Heroes, Fusion Fall, Toontown. Um, there's one game I used to play on PlayStation that was actually kind of cross-platform. I think that was one of the first cross-platform games. I forget the name of it, but it was like you'd run around an open world, and you could. The part that got me the most was like there was a class that was like a Yu-Gi-Oh class. Like you'd fight with cards as if you were playing like Wizard 101. You turn the fight into a turn base, but all I really remember were like there were squirrels. It was free rounds, free rounds. Yeah, we used to play that. Um, what was it? DC. That uh, DC game. Um, it's still out and pumping content to this game. It plays like Champions Online, but a little more fast paced. I'm blanking on that game right now. Um, I'm sure you know if you play it um, or played it, you know what I'm talking about. I might get back into that game. That game was alright. I used to pay for stuff in there, but even though it's kind of like cross platform now, I don't think your information actually saves over. And if it does, I can't remember my other platform's information. So I've bought like classes and stuff on one account, and I get back on the other account, and I can't even touch it. Oh man, yeah, we used to play IMVU. We used to play Roblox. We used to play all kinds of games. There's a ton of stuff that I want to just like walk down memory lane on because looking back on it, it was just absolutely amazing. But now that I'm speaking on it, Warframe, right? I used to hate Warframe. I couldn't stand it. When it first launched, my PC wasn't strong enough to run what it was pumping out, so I could never actually play it. It wasn't optimized for my computer. And this was way back when. It wasn't like I had like a gaming computer or a special computer. I just had like your basic Dell that would usually get a virus from time to time and die. But I really wanted to play Warframe, and I couldn't, and I was all upset. A few years later, Warframe is a little more optimized and it's coming to consoles. I give it a try on Xbox 360, and it plays strange to me, so I end up uninstalling it before I even really made it out. Then, a few years later, I hop on over to PlayStation. I play it just a little bit past tutorial. Still don't like the controls. For some reason, I didn't change the controls. It never hit me as a child to change the controls on the game. So I just thought that they had to be the way they were. So I ended up stopped. Like I stopped playing it then too. And I come over to PC because my friends are talking about playing it, and I just don't play it because I couldn't get past the tutorial. Well, not exactly. Like maybe I touch right at the end of the tutorial, and then that was it. Right? Like that was it. A few more years pass, circle around, and now I'm playing on PlayStation 4 with some friends from school, and we're getting in it. I'm talking at first it was, just a little bit of grinding, barely experiencing the story, really just a little bit of grinding. Um, my friends and I were playing, I think it was Lunaro, that game mode that's like football, but it's soccer. I think it was based off of like a Mayan or like an Aztec game from way back when. That game, we were playing that, right? Like I didn't know too many people who were actually playing that game mode. We would like do duels. We would help each other farm for Warframe because we weren't really spending money in the game at the time. A little time passes, and we start putting a little bit of money in, and before you know it, I'm like addicted, right? Like my friends and I would all get on at the same time every day after school, help each other grind for this, grind for that. We push to get this, we push to get that. We're flexing our colors, schemes, and our Warframe, and we're playing specific roles now. We've turned Warframe into like this dungeon crawler. Oh, okay, I'm gonna play the glass cannon. I'm gonna burst through everybody from this radius to this radius. You play crowd control. You keep them off of everybody, and I forgot what the third person was doing. I don't know. Maybe they were like an in between, like a bruiser. Maybe they were a sniper. I can't remember. Maybe they just buffed us like the healer. I can't remember. But I remember we used to play for a really long time. And like at the time I was working at this job that paid weekly. So once a week I'd put money in a Warframe, just a bit. And so did my friends. So we were always, just on top. It was like the more money you invested, the more you wanted to play. And that was like my ideal thinking with any game, right? Like if I'm going to put money into this, if I'm going to spend money on this, then I'm going to play it. I'm going to put time into it. If I'm investing money in, I'm going to invest time. And it was fun. Eventually those friends ended up moving away, and they couldn't play as much, so I stopped playing on PlayStation. And then a few years later, another one of my friends is playing it, and I'm back on PlayStation playing with them, and we're running through Warframe again. And what are we like? At that point, that friend was spending money on it religiously, right? Like they saw all the stuff I had, and they felt insecure, and they wanted to climb and get there. And my goal was to like help them farm to get everything, right? But once I started teaching them about like the marketplace where you can buy stuff from other players, and like um, giving them heads up on like discounts and stuff that they can get from time to time when they log in, they just started abusing the system. Like I didn't really play in dojos much, in clans. I was in one at the time, but I wasn't like heavy in it. And it wasn't until later on I found out you can actually get Warframe and weapons from clans. It was like a easier way for you to grind because the community was helping each other. And I'd sort of heard about it, but I never really invested time into it. I took like maybe a little break because I was dealing with like school and essays and tests and stuff. And I get back, and that one friend that I was playing with who was insecure, he had bought like $200 worth of stuff in the game. I came back, he had like six, seven different Warframe that he didn't have before. At least half of them were maxed. He's got all these new weapons that I don't have. Leveling them up. He's flexing this and flexing that. He done bought mods. He was really up in his game. To try to be like the big dog, and that's the kind of like ego he had, like the kind of complex he had, where he just had to one up. He wanted to be the best, and I don't blame him for any of it. Oh, 1 second. I don't blame him for having like that insecurity of not having like what everybody else had. But his ego was always like, even outside of Warframe, the type where like he has to be better, he has to one up. He's gonna be the fastest in a race. He's gonna lift more than the guy who lifts the most. He's gonna have the most muscles out of everybody. He's gonna have the biggest brain. He's gonna be the smartest. He's gonna outplay. He's gonna beat you in a debate. It was like everything about him was a competition. He could not stand, being the one who was like on the losing side. And I mean, it's not like there were times obviously I'd seen where he'd end up on a losing side where he'd take a loss or something, and he'd usually brush it off and then just kind of deflect it towards something else. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I lost, but hey, what about this? So that we wouldn't just sit on his losing. And and even though I had like a friend that was like that, it was kind of toxic in a sense looking back on it, because there were a lot of things between us that I guess really didn't have to happen. Um, but I don't regret making a friend like that. I don't regret making any of the friends I have, because at the end of the day, you really learn something from all the people that you meet and greet. But they also, them being the way they are, it got me in a competition kind of mood. So I'd start putting more money into Warframe too, and before you knew it, we had like this big arsenal of Warframe. Whenever I play the story, it got me hooked even more. So, we try to compete a bit in the story to see who could get this and this and this first, or who had this, who had that. We'd end up finding like main Warframe that we really enjoyed, and then we run basically all of our missions with the mains and see what we could do with the ones we like the most. Sometimes we'd swap them up if we ever felt like we were going towards a new look, or if we wanted a new prime or something. It was genuinely fun. You know, one year I went from one year despising Warframe to a few years down the line practically being obsessed with it. Eventually, those friends or that friend wasn't on as much, or we ended up having to like take a step towards college. I think it was around the time. So we were taking a big break from just playing games in general. At least I was, and I ended up just leaving Warframe alone for years. And then I come back, and I'm on PC, and I didn't want to start all over again with the grinding, because I had put like a year to two or more into Warframe, and like I said, I'd spend money darn near once a week on it. So there's no telling how much I had actually put into the game itself. So I just didn't want to do it on PC. But naturally, I'd end up getting a friend or two to play with me again, on PC, and it kind of just followed through. I started putting money in, and there I was, back into it. It's like one of those stories about like a victim of something. Like, oh, I can't remember a time where I was broke in Warframe. Like I was really going through it. I mean, I really enjoyed it though. The regrinding, putting some money in, because now I had a better idea of what I actually wanted in the game. Like, oh, I liked this Warframe more than these, so I got this one. or I know I'm gonna need, like Warframe has like they always have like a reconnaissance mission where you need like a spy type Warframe, somebody who can go invisible. So it's like, okay, well, I've got like these 2 to 4 options. I'm gonna go with this one because this one does invisibility best in my opinion, Or hey, I know that I need these prime mods. I know how much they go for now, so I know I can talk to somebody about this when it came to buying this. And by the way, I don't entirely remember how it was on like PlayStation, but PC, the community is extremely helpful and extremely nice as far as I've seen, really wholesome. They help like all the way through. People were giving me like stuff on Warframe through the marketplace that should have been like 200 platinum. They were giving it to me for like 50 platinum, 20 platinum. Like it was like a monopoly. Some people were like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna charge you this much," because it was like the standard price. And then right before I'd say like yes, maybe like a minute later, somebody would hit me up, "Yo, do you still need this? I'll give you this much, and it'd be half off of it." And the cheaper you get, the more stuff you can buy later on with the leftover platinum you have. So it was really nice. And the people that you turn down or that I turned down would usually be like, "No, it's all good. It's all good. I hope you get what you got. Let me know if you need anything else." Like they're just really cool, chill people. I genuinely enjoy that. And that wasn't where I was gonna go at all with this podcast. I was gonna start talking a bit about Roblox, some of the older games I played on Roblox, but I think I might do that where I've got like a Roblox video in the background. But yeah, it started off. I don't know how this started off, but I've got some more video that I want to edit, so I'll leave this right here. Thanks for listening to my rant. Oh well, let's talk about modern Warframe. Modern Warframe, like now, I remember they were running out of content. Halloween just had this thing where you could grind for all this stuff, and it was really cool. I grinded for like the little wings they had because I thought it'd be really cool to have some wings. I think they had an opportunity to get like angel wings some time back. I think they just gave them to you for free if you were on, and I had completely missed it because I was playing some other game and had uninstalled Warframe and felt bad. The fear of missing out, so to speak. So. Um, when Halloween came, they were giving out like demon wings, but you can change the color of them. And if you give them like the prime color look, they kind of look like angel wings. So I definitely grinded for that. But I know at one point everybody was saying that they were out of content and they were calling it, like fashion frame because all they'd really do during streams or like the bigger highlights of their streams would be like of the dev streams would be dressing your Warframe up in this color or this gear, this armor. Who can make the prettiest Warframe. And there's like a contest of who could be the prettiest. But way back then, um, the streams were like, hey, let's all hop on Cetus and let's run. Let's get these runs in. Let's farm this. Let's farm that. The devs would actually play with you. Basically, check out your builds while y'all are playing and see what they like the most. They play like the Warframes that they designed and that they pitched, that they loved. They'd be so eager. I remember when had that. Equinox had that mod that let it let them throw the other one out, so you could have two different Warframe fighting at the same time for just a few seconds. I remember when they were first, talking about that mod, and they were fangirling about it and super excited. And I remember they were having like challenges where the floor was lava, and I think whoever stayed up the longest got a certain amount of platinum. I remember they used to have all these crazy mini games and would have fun. And I mean, I hadn't been on the streams in a minute, so I don't know if they're still doing it all. But I remember a lot of the times people like your YouTube recommendeds will throw something in, and it'll be something like, "Oh, hey, you know, check out this, check out this." Let me think. Let me think. They'd be like, check out how this Warframe looks with this color scheme that I've got, or it'll be, oh, this dev right here is making a sex joke to this dev. Isn't that funny? It'd be like some of the top Warframe recommended videos, or it'll be a video where the game glitches or a fail happens and there's no real audio from the person playing. It's just like gameplay with some meme sound in the back. And I mean, I was talking with some friends about it, and you can't really be, you know, upset about this because they were at the point to where they just couldn't come out with any more content, or at least not anytime soon. So everything that you were seeing from people were just replicas of what have already been done. You know, like one of my friends pointed out to me, there are so many builds you can do for a Warframe, right? One of the biggest videos you probably find on Warframe are Warframe introductions and the builds around them, because you can build a Warframe to practically do anything you need it to do. But people usually go for what utilizes their best function that they're known for. So, if you're going for like a Loki build, you're probably looking for something that deals more with his invisibility and not his disarm or that move where like he teleports. If you're going for like a Trinity build, you're probably looking for something that deals more with the max amount of energy and or healing you can give out, not like how much damage you can do as Trinity. Not saying that people aren't looking for that, but there are going to be a ton of YouTubers who make a ton of videos on builds. Sometimes it'll be one YouTuber making three different videos on the same Warframe, and each video is a new build. And when you have YouTubers like that stacked on top of the YouTubers who are only doing one video per build, you're getting like 1,000 videos for this one Warframe, and majority of them are going to be the same. Oh, you're going to need this mod to make sure you got this, and then you're going to need this mod to make sure you got this, and then they all kind of change up a little bit depending on what it is you're looking for. So after a while, you've got just tons of these videos that have already been redone. Some of them will update per patch. Some of them won't because maybe they feel like they don't need to. It's just how it is, and you get all these videos piled up, and then people are like, well, where's the new videos at? Where's the content at? Where's the continuation of the war at? What's happening? Where's Lotus? Wasn't that her name, Lotus? It's been a really long time. Where's Natal? Where's Natal at? What happened? What happened to Dad? And then you move over to this world where you see like plant tree people, the grandmother, the mother, the brother, the sister. I don't even remember what's happening anymore. I just know that we ended up in this other world, and things are definitely confusing for me. But that's because I hadn't been on as much as I was. People are talking about how I remember people were talking about that new Warframe that looks like a little girl with the water. They were saying that she got nerfed within like the first month or so of her being released, and now she's just absolute garbage. Some people were saying she was garbage before the nerf. I don't necessarily know why she's garbage. I didn't pay for her. I didn't grind for her. I got her animation, her idle animation, because she pulls out a random like water plushie and plays with it. I thought that was pretty cute, and I think she dances around a little bit like Octavia does. So I thought that was pretty cool. But it's just a lot of weird stuff going on. When I play Warframe, it's just gonna be grinding, farming stuff, running dungeons. But yeah, I had something else that I want to talk about in mind, and then I ended up branching into the old school in a Warframe. So here we are. I guess this video will be something titled like Warframe has corrupted me. I don't know, something clickbaity. But yeah, thanks for watching or listening to me just rant about one game while video of a completely different game played in the background. Goodbye.